Well, good morning, Pastor Sally. Thanks for coming to join us today. We are highlighting some of our really great mission partners in our stewardship program, and thought it would be great to have you come out and talk to the folks at Epiphany about yourself a little bit, about First English, and about the great ministries that you are doing. We love First English, and are really happy to have you here.
Well, thank you. We also love Epiphany, and you guys have been very involved there. You guys were one of the first partners with First English, and I think it's going on like 12, 13 years now that Epiphany has been involved with First English. And so we just really appreciate you having me here this morning and just giving us a chance to talk. And thank you for all that you guys do. We really appreciate it. And First English is a church like all churches trying to live out the gospel of Jesus Christ. The difference is, however, that our neighbors are in a different place. A lot of our neighbors live in abusive situations. A lot of our neighbors are addicted to drugs. A lot of our neighbors have a hard time getting a job because of a felony in their life, so then they can't make ends meet. And that really does truly make a difference. We have, people who come to church that donate, but they donate 50 cents. And so the whole idea of what church looks like, it becomes very raw and very real in a lot of ways. And so First English realized we can't do this ministry alone. We need partners. And so that's where we've invited other partners in to help us in this ministry and to join us in caring for the people in our neighborhood who are truly in need of knowing the grace of Jesus Christ.
We have some people who are very familiar with our involvement in your mealtime ministry, but I'm sure that there are some in our congregation who aren't aware of that.
Yeah.
I wonder if you could talk to us about that a little bit.
Yeah, we serve 2 meals a week, one on Thursday night in the evening and one on Sunday morning breakfast. The Sunday morning one, to me, they're all important, but Sunday morning is just so key because there aren't other meals in the city of Columbus on a Sunday morning, or very few at that. And so we get, before COVID, we were getting over 150 people on a Sunday morning for breakfast. Wow. Now it's gone down to around 95 to 100. And we're giving to-go meals during this time. So the meals have continued throughout COVID. We've just continued to do them in a new way. But people are hungry, and when people are hungry, you have to feed them. There is no choice.
You are providing sanctuary for Miriam Vargas and her 2 kids, which many of us think is a very bold and courageous ministry. How's that going with Miriam and her kids?
Yeah, it's almost been 2.5 years, which is crazy to think, but it's going as well as can be expected. We continue to fight to give Miriam her freedom. Miriam came to this country and had a legitimate asylum claim. She came in. The problem is she was given asylum, but then when 4 years later, when the government got around to hearing her case, she had moved. And so she never got her letter saying I needed to show up in court. So of course she didn't show up in court, which then meant she had a removal. They wanted to, said, well, you didn't play by the rules, so you got to go. The problem is Miriam's 2 children are U.S. citizens, and one has special needs. We are allowing her to stay in the church and be a mother to her children, and she is a wonderful human being. And I wish that's what people understood is, did she do some things wrong? Possibly, not as far as breaking the law, but maybe not understanding or following the systems that we have in play. She's a wonderful person who was paying taxes and living in this country, doing, following the rules and doing everything she could. So, we just continue to try to tell Miriam's story, to lift up some of the injustices in our immigration system, and to just continue to allow her to be a mom.
Sally, we are really honored to be a part of your mission. We pray for you and the folks at First English all of the time. We want to provide whatever we can, and we're grateful to you and grateful for the ministry of First English. Thanks so much for being with us today.
Well, thanks for having me, and God bless everybody. Stay safe.
I want to welcome Nancy DeRoberts Moore, who is the pretty new executive director at Joseph's Coat. We're thrilled to have you here. We love your ministry, and looking forward to hearing just a bit about it. So could you talk to us about your work, your ministry as executive director?
Certainly. I've been at Joseph's Code a little under a year, and it's been an interesting year to say the least. The work of Joseph's Code I knew about before I came there, but I never really realized the impact in the community, how broad it was, until I became the executive director. Joseph's Code is known for being just a friendly, warm, comfortable place for people to come, and just a wonderful culture and atmosphere. Joseph's Code is supported by this wonderful team of over 100 volunteers from our community. Wow. That come in and give hours of their time every week to allow us to serve the community. So I would say one of the things that struck me most was just this volunteer team. Some had been there since inception, so 20 years ago. Our founder of Joseph's Code is still even with us. Wow. And just their willingness to pitch in and do whatever's necessary. I think for me, having been in the human service field for my whole career, I see Joseph's Code as just a kind of stabilizing resource for people. And it really is there to fill the gap and help folks who are struggling be able to find ways to find stability during this difficult time.
A lot of our folks know about Joseph's Code, but may not know that we have a number of folks in our congregation who volunteer, who give their time, and they talk to us about what an impact your ministry has on your clients. Can you talk to us a bit about what you see, how people's lives have changed because of the resources they're able to get?
We have, really, the folks who come to Joseph's Code come from all over central Ohio. I think we serve close to 30 zip codes. So people come from quite far away.
Wow.
That's the simple things. We are on the bus route off of Broad. There's a bus stop on Broad Street, but it's quite a little journey to get to us. So we give clients suitcases to take their clothing and items in when they leave, so that, just to make it a little bit simpler. And they bring it back the next time and refill it. So everyone really works together. We have people who were underemployed before the pandemic hit, who then really are struggling now. We have a number of folks who come in who are disabled. We have a lot of veterans, a lot of the working poor. We have a lot of elderly who come in, especially elderly who are parenting their grandchildren for a variety of different reasons. Wow. And really just can't stretch it to make it work. And so we just try to help meet those needs. So we often say, if we can fill the gap, then families and individuals can take their limited resources and direct them to other areas.
We are thrilled to be a mission partner with you. I want to thank you for being here today. Know that we will pray for you, and we'll do the best we can to provide financial support for the amazing work that you're doing. Nancy, thanks for coming.
Thank you so much, and we really appreciate your support, and without the support of your congregation, we wouldn't be able to do the work we do, so thank you.
I want to welcome Pastor Bob Abrams. Bob is assistant to Bishop Suzanne Dillahunt, and we're thrilled to have you here, Bob. Grateful for our partnership with
Likewise.
the Southern Ohio Synod. I wonder if you could introduce yourself and maybe say a bit about your ministry portfolio.
Sure. As you said, I'm assistant to the bishop. I've been in this role now. I'm in my 7th year. My portfolio, the area of work that I've done, has expanded since I went on staff. But I have kind of 3 primary areas that I work in. The first is transitions when congregations are vacant. I work with call committees. I try to find good candidates for congregations. The second area where I work is an area that has kind of blossomed in the last 5 years. And that is, I work and coach pastors along with a team that I have in how kind of the way churches work emotionally. And this team, it's called the Resource Team, Congregational Resource Team. We're trained through a program that the church-wide organization started called the ELCA Systems Academy. I graduated from that academy. It's a 4-year program. I'm still a member of it. And then we have a trainer that comes regularly to train our team. And the third area is ecumenism, our relationships with other Christian denominations.
Bishop Dillahunt was here probably 2 years ago at this point, and there were some young girls in our congregation
Yeah.
who noticed,
Huh.
wow, we have a female bishop.
Yeah.
And then she spent some time with our high school youth. But her presence as a bishop and as a woman in ministry,
Yeah.
I think is pretty cool, pretty big deal, actually.
Yeah. And one of the things that she told me when she came on, and she said, we have a lot of relationships that we need to attend to.
And I would want our folks to know that with Bishop Dillahunt, what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
She's straightforward.
Yep.
She speaks the truth, even if it's difficult to speak and even if it's difficult to hear.
Yeah.
But that kind of integrity is something that, I want our folks here to know about, and I think it's reflected in you,
Thank you.
And the whole staff.
Yeah. That is a wonderful way to say it about our bishop. She's what you see is what you get. She is so focused on the gospel, and I really mean that, because if we get off in a staff meeting in the weeds, she will say something like, and there's always a variation on this, how does this have to do with Jesus?
It's a great question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how does the synod as a whole, meaning the bishop's staff, how does it enable and equip congregations to talk about Jesus in the community? Because Pastor Kerrigan will give you the real numbers. Mine are pretty close. About 2/3 of Americans are not churched.
Wow.
About 2/3. About 50 to 60% say they're Christian, but only about 1/3 walk into a church in the course of a year.
So when they come, we want to talk to them about Jesus.
We do. And the ones who don't come, we want to be witnesses to them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have a lot, we talk a lot about that. There's kind of a passion among this staff about not being bureaucrats.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
There are bureaucratic elements to every organization.
Of course.
There are.
Yeah.
But we're pastors. Our bishop is a pastor. And we're all of us became pastors because we felt called to the ministry. And what we do is ministry. It is not, if it's all about pushing numbers around, we're wasting our time.
Yeah. And I think it's great, again, for our people to hear that it's ministry. It's about Jesus. It's about being in the world.
Yeah.
It's about helping congregations and pastors. And Bob, I'm grateful for that relationship that we have, for our collegial relationship.
Yeah, me too.
And certainly for Bishop Dillahunt and the rest of the staff. I want to thank you for coming. This has been great.
It's good to see you again.
Today we're pleased to welcome Ben Powers, who has an important role with Lutheran Social Services. Thanks for taking some time to be with us. As I hope you know, we value our partnership with LSS, and glad to have a chance to talk to you a bit about it. So Ben, could you just introduce yourself and maybe a bit about your role, your responsibilities at LSS?
Yeah, thank you. Glad to be here. Ben Powers, and I am the Congregational Relations Manager for Lutheran Social Services of Central Ohio, and I am the all things churches for our entire network of Hope. The partnership we have with Epiphany is very helpful to us to continue to provide the social services that we have. We have Choices, which is the only domestic violence shelter in Franklin County, and it also provides wraparound services to those that are in and outside of the shelter. We have Faith Mission, which includes our shelter for men and women on grant, as well as Faith on 8th shelter, as well as the food pantries. And then we also have all of our services down here in Fairfield County in Lancaster. We have Faith Mission Fairfield County Food Pantry, which serves as our hub for our mobile distributions of food, as well as a lot of veteran services and things. So an entire network of hope that Epiphany really supports all of those programs for us. So we really appreciate it.
I love that image of a network of hope.
Yeah.
Ben, wonder if you could share with us maybe an anecdote or two about some of the people that you serve through LSS and how you're able to improve the quality of their lives.
Yeah, absolutely. We were just talking just last week about, really the impact this is having. We have a lot of seniors who are very fixed incomes, very limited access to any of the peripheral money and funds that have been made available during COVID. And so they're accessing our food. They come for bread and produce a couple times a week, monthly. They're getting an order. And that's substantial. And we're talking a few $100s worth of food each month that they're able to save having to spend that out of pocket. Wow. And they can use those to spend on other needed items. And so, it's one of those things where we can feel the gratitude when we're passing that loaf of bread over to someone. And all the more during COVID. We've had a dramatic increase in the number of clients. We particularly have had a large increase of larger families, which makes sense. But we are consistently having each week 25 to 30 new families access our pantry. And so, the need is there, and we're very honored and proud to be able to meet that need.
Amazing. Sometimes I think that Lutherans kind of fly under the radar and aren't always seen, almost a hidden treasure for the world. And you guys do a great job with that. Ben, talk to me about what it is through your work that really inspires you, that really jazzes you, that really makes you passionate on a personal level.
Yeah. So I was in pastoral ministry for 10 years, and I left that to actually run a homeless shelter, a small family homeless shelter. And I remember saying, wow, I think I did more ministry in the first month here than I did in 10 years in the pulpit. And from there, I moved on to LSS, and it's been every bit of that. The scope and the reach of literally hundreds and thousands of lives that are being impacted on a very regular basis. And it's inspiring to me, coming from the church, to see all the different congregations like Epiphany who are supportive, who rally with some in-kind items, who send a consistent financial support, who are sending volunteers when they can, who support a variety of programs, and it makes me feel, I can feel the kingdom of God at work, and I can feel how, here we are, our identity is in Christ, and we are together, we're treating the least of these the way that we were supposed to, we were called to.
Ben, this has been wonderful. Thanks for sharing your passion, the important ministry of LSS of Central Ohio. We're grateful to be a partner with you, and we pray for you and hope the very best for you. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, very happy to welcome Rod Pierce, who is the director of Lutheran Memorial Camp. And Rod is here to talk with us about not only LMC, but Luther and Lutheran Outdoor Ministries in Ohio, one of our important mission partners. And Rod, I want to thank you for taking some time to be with us. Could you just introduce yourself and maybe talk a bit about your ministry at LMC?
Sure, and thank you for the invitation. Good morning, everyone. Epiphany, it's wonderful to be here. Well, I wish I were there in person, but this is the next best thing. My name is Rod Pierce. I am the director at Lutheran Memorial Camp, part of Lutheran Outdoor Ministries in Ohio, as with our sister camp, Camp Luther, up on Lake Erie. I've been affiliated with LOMO now for 10 years, a little over 10 years, started in 2010. However, I've been in Lutheran Outdoor Ministry since 1996, and where I went and was the director at the camp where I grew up in Maryland, Camp Marlou Ridge. And then I spent, before then, 13 years in the YMCA system. And it has been my joy to be in Lutheran Outdoor Ministries all these years. I grew up Lutheran, attended Lutheran camp starting at age 3 with my family, and then summer camp with my Luther League. And so it's been a wonderful for me to be part of this ministry. So yeah, it's great. It's been a fun journey.
Talk to us a bit about how you have seen your ministry changing the lives of people, young people, 3-year-olds, kids, youth, adults. I know you've seen a lot of it. If you could just share a bit with us, that would be terrific.
I could, and thank you for giving me the 4 hours this morning to share all of my stories. I love sharing the stories. Part of the joy for me has been seeing these changes in people. I call it the bookends of crying. The staff make fun of me for this. I see youth crying on Sunday because they don't want to stay at camp. And then I see them crying on Friday because they don't want to leave. Yeah. And I've seen people who, for their first time, have gone out in a canoe. And they came in and they said, Rod, that's the first time I've ever been in a canoe. And this particular gentleman was 89 years old. And so canoeing as a senior citizen changed, he just at Lutheran camping. So it's been a wonder to see all these changes. And it's been really, really neat for me to see when kids or anyone or adults or families go home, that the experience of just 1 week at camp stays with them for their entire life. Whether they go into rostered leadership or lay leadership in the Lutheran Church, it's been a joy to see how these folks have embraced ministry just from one week experience, if not longer, at camp. So it's been really neat.
I love that image of the bookends. When you think about the work that you do, your ministry, how does it fuel? You're obviously passionate about what you do. How does it fuel some of your passions and some of your vision for what it means to be a follower of Jesus?
I'm going to refer back when I went on the website there, your website at Epiphany, and reading some of your information. I say this is cool because it fits in so well with what we do, and I'm going to share a little bit of it. On your website, it says helping people get to know Jesus and get better at loving and serving others. And that works out so nicely at camp in a resident program where you live together, you worship together, you eat together, you play together, you swim together, you do activities together, and you're getting to know God and love God and through loving each other. For the two of us, Epiphany and Loma, working together in our mutual ministries, we're saying the same things, and it's exciting to see that. So
that's wonderful. Thank you for noticing those things, because they are things that we value, and I know that Lutheran Outdoor Ministry values them as well. I mentioned before we started recording that I'm a pastor today because of Lutheran Outdoor Ministries. I met my wife on camp staff, so Lutheran Outdoor Ministries there, and our family has been so blessed. So I want to thank you for carrying on that tradition and that legacy. I love your obvious passion and love for what you do, and we're grateful to be partners with you. So thanks for spending a few minutes with us this morning, and we're praying for you during these difficult times, and just know that we're with you in spirit.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And our prayers also are with you. So all the best there at Epiphany and everyone there. Blessings to you. Thank you for having me with you this week.
Thank you.
Well, I want to welcome Pastor Grant Eckhart. Grant is the pastor at the Jacob's Porch Lutheran Campus Ministry on the campus of the Ohio State University. Grant, we love you. We love your ministry and are thrilled to be partners with you. And I wonder if you could just talk to us a bit about you and your ministry at Jacob's Porch, and maybe a little bit about how it impacts the lives of the students who are part of that.
Yeah, well, thanks for the question, Pastor Brad, and for the partnership of Epiphany Lutheran Church. We love you all here. You've been walking with us for many, many, many years now, and so this just feels like a comfortable place for me to be. Feels like home. And I've been at Jacob's Porch now for almost 8 years, and as Pastor Brad said, it is your campus ministry here in Central Ohio, located at The Ohio State University. I'm at Ohio State, but also Capital. Sometimes we get students from Columbus State or Otterbein. So while most of our students are from Ohio State, we really have students from all around, so we're not limited to just Ohio State. And interestingly now, during this season of COVID-19, we have students that are dialing into some of our small groups online from around the country. So the impact and range of the ministry in partnership with Epiphany has been really good for students.
That's great.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if you could share maybe just a couple of anecdotes about students whose lives have been impacted and even changed through the ministry you have there.
Yeah. The college years are in many ways more transformative than even other parts of our life, because people come from all around the country onto campus, and all of a sudden they're experiencing different thoughts, different people, and it creates both a crisis and openness for students to ask questions about themselves, of God, of their neighbor. And what I love about my job, there's many things, but I get a front row seat to seeing the transformation in these students' lives, where they come in as a freshman, and over the course of 4 or 5, or sometimes more than that, years, they come to Jacob's Porch not because a parent is telling them or there's any pressure, but because there's something there that they know they need, because for the first time they're seeing that there's some kind of spiritual reality that is impacting them and is becoming more important to them. And we see this change up close all the time. In fact, earlier today, I was just talking to somebody from the bishop's office, and they were saying, hey, this student of yours that just graduated, she was with us for 4 years, outstanding student. She's now attending a church in Cincinnati because she got a job down there, and already making an impact in that congregation.
Wow.
And already participating in a few new ministries that they're doing. And the pastor told the bishop's office, hey, this young woman could really help, do some more exciting ministries in the synod. Can you get, is there a way to plug her in? And so they were kind of calling me to check on that just today. That's just one story of how, we kind of do what we do in the college years, but we're always in partnership. There's always a trajectory back to the church that we hope for. And so we send our students out into various congregations,
Cool.
To enliven those congregations.
When you walk into the building at Jacob's Porch, you just kind of sense an atmosphere of acceptance. You sense an atmosphere of Jesus, with all of these students and this love and this care that people have for each other. Talk to us a bit about the community that is Jacob's Porch.
Yeah, the community at Jacob's Porch, like many churches right now, we are almost entirely online. We do have a number of very small gatherings on our patio. We're following all of Ohio State's protocols. And I kind of thought some of that community feeling would go away being online. And it is a change, but I think what really makes that sense that you mentioned of kind of love and of Jesus being there is the risks that students take to be vulnerable about where they're at in their lives, about their honest thoughts of God, where in Jesus, wherever they are in that process, whether they're not a Christian or they're very on fire for Jesus. Everybody is just honestly and vulnerably sharing about their experience of God and just the mess of their lives. And they're able to do that online in profound ways. And so you just kind of get this really intimate sense that God is with us, God is for us, and faith is made whole in community is something that we say a lot.
We are thrilled again to be a mission partner with you and with the Porch Grant, and grateful that you came out to spend some time with us today.
Well, thank you so much, Pastor Brad. It's an honor to be here, and thank you to all of you at Epiphany Lutheran Church for your love and care of our students.